You're talking about me re-engaging in my step work.
Exactly.
I'm guessing is what you're talking about, which, yeah, you know, I mean, I went through, I get just like you, right? Like, I think I should be somewhere other than where I'm at. Like I am so recovered that I should never be in a dark space, right?
Yeah, like, why am I still having to deal with this? Like I think there's an end to the journey,
right?
You know, and there's not.
And it usually comes like after a moment of serenity, right? Like I have this period of, I don't know if you still get a pink cloud at 10 years sober. You know, I'm like 9.5, almost 10 years sober. So I don't know that it's a pink cloud like it was early on in sobriety where I was super high about, but I go through moments of serenity where like everything's good. You know, it's good. I'm feeling good. I'm not tripping on shit. Because everything is always good now, you know, like I feel like I'm a responsible, productive member of my life, and things are good. But there's times where I feel like everything's good, like I'm feeling not a cloud on the horizon,
right?
And I think I'm going to live there forever. and so after that vibe comes the goal hole.
Right.
And I fall into this fucking pit where, you know, now, for no apparent reason, I'm feeling irritable, discontent, restless. I'm feeling a sense of impending doom. And I try to get out of it by a few different means, right? I never go to spiritual work first.
Yeah.
Generally, you know, unfortunately, I go through this process of like, I just get deeper into the fucking rut because I don't know that I'm there until I'm fucking way in it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like way the fuck out in the weeds, and I look around, I'm like, oh fuck, I'm way out in the weeds. And so I try to get back by myself. I'm like, well, I got myself out here. I can get back. So I think I'll just work out harder, you know. Well, that didn't work. I think I'll diet harder and work out harder. Well, that didn't work. So I'll increase my food consumption, and that didn't work. So since the foods that are on my green list aren't working, I'll add foods that are on my red list because at least that'll bring me joy, I think.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And then I'll overconsume that, and then I'll increase my porn consumption, my phone consumption, period, social media. I'll try a new challenge. I'll do like I'll do almost anything other than spiritual work. And like I went through that dark space after my mom got hurt, and none of those things were working, where, you know, the negative behavior was increasing to the point where shit started getting risky. You know, like I was seriously trying to, like I hadn't burned my house down yet, but I bought the fuel.
Right.
You know?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I seen the writing on the wall. And fortunately for me, through, you know, this self-discovery, through working with a sponsor in the past and doing step work and being on the podcast and having the people in my life that I have, got to a point where it's like, well, fuck, maybe we need to go back to the basics. Right. Mm-hmm. And that's where I went. Right. Like, what is the one thing that I need to work on? And it turns out for me, like the big thing that increased dramatically over the last 2 months was my porn consumption. Right. And it started affecting me spiritually. And I didn't notice it until shit started getting out of hand. Right. Like, till I started like disappearing from fucking work and not coming home on time and like staying late and like doing all this sneaky fucking behavior. And then no wonder I'm getting depressed. Like I'm living in the disease, even though I'm not drinking and using, like I'm using something else, you know? And I do the same thing with food. I'll go to that same place. And so I got with another alcoholic and we started working the steps on that. You know, step 1, powerlessness and unmanageability. You know, go back to the tools that work, right? I've discovered that with myself, I thrive in the work. That's something that I discovered about myself. Right. Like if I'm in the work, if I'm in the solution, I thrive. Mm-hmm. You know, I discovered that I'm a pretty powerful being in my own life.